John J. Doe. That is the names on my birth certificate.
The pedestrian was throwing objects at passing cars on the freeway.
I would like to represent myself through this way. There's no chance of a mistrial. My body belongs in a jail. I do not have any civil rights. I don't have a right to my own mind, my own body.
I asked a question in the thumbnail. Is this man a SovCit? The answer is maybe. He's at least SovCit-adjacent. He is going pro se, and he does mention a few things that seem to refer to the natural man or the living man. The real question is, how crazy is he? I'll tell you now that Judge Meyer orders him to get his head candled, but that's a foregone conclusion in this hearing. You don't see too many defendants having an animated conversation with the law behind them. Let's roll, nerds.
Yes, Your Honor. He is here. We're about to pull him into the booth. I believe he would like to proceed pro se, is the representations he's made.
Okay. Yeah, I want you to stay there, though, Ms. Myers. All right. What's your name, sir?
What's my name? John
Yes.
Doe. D-O-E.
Okay.
Date of birth, January 11th.
I'm not. Give me just a second. So, Ms. Myers, did you discuss with him his legal rights or no?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's okay. I would like to represent myself through this way. There's no chance of a mistrial.
Do you have an address?
Actually, no, I don't.
Okay. Do you have a cell phone?
I've lost it all, wound up on welfare, lost my apartment, and was forced out in the street.
Okay. And so do you have a cell phone?
No, I've never actually used it. If you're talking to ones you carry in your pocket, no. I had a cell phone once.
So you're now charged with 2 crimes: obstructing a law enforcement officer in the performance of his or her duties, criminal trespass in the 2nd degree. Anytime anyone's ever charged with a crime, they have a number of rights. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If I can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you at little or no cost. You have the right to a trial by jury in the county where the crime is alleged to have occurred. You have the right to hear and question witnesses called by the prosecution.
I was on the side of a highway. I wasn't aware the highway was the county.
Okay, so hang on just a second. Let me finish, sir. You have the right to hear and question witnesses called by the prosecution. You have the right to call witnesses in your own behalf, and I can require the attendance of your witnesses through the use of subpoena.
Witnesses, all you have is me.
You know, we'll get through this a lot quicker if we agree not to interrupt each other. And so let me finish, and then when I ask you questions, I won't interrupt you either, okay? And you're presumed to be not guilty of the crime charge. You cannot be found guilty unless this prosecution proves the elements of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt, or unless you enter a plea of guilty. You have the right to remain silent. You're not required to testify against yourself. At the same time, you do have the right to testify on your own behalf if you choose to do so. Finally, if you take this matter to trial and lose, you would have the right to appeal your conviction to Superior Court. I'm going to swear in the prosecutor. I'll hear from him with regard to probable cause. Could you raise your right hand, please?
On September 22nd, 2025, Thurston County, Washington State Patrol trooper was on patrol in Thurston County at about 7:12 a.m. Dispatch advised of 911 callers reporting a male pedestrian on northbound I-5 near milepost 91. Their callers reported that the pedestrian was throwing objects at passing cars while en route.
Say that again.
The pedestrians reported to 911 that the callers reported to 911 that the pedestrian was throwing objects at passing cars on the freeway. Upon arrival, troopers observed the white male wearing a baseball cap, tan jacket, blue jeans, walking northbound on the right shoulder. This was consistent with the description the callers had provided. One of the troopers pulled up behind the individual, turned on his sirens. but the individual continued to walk away. A second and third trooper pulled up behind the first trooper. One of the troopers utilized his PA system and gave commands to the individual to stop walking and advised that he was not allowed on the freeway. The subject turned and gestured with his middle finger before continuing to walk northbound, away from troopers and ignoring commands. Eventually,
I did not give the troopers my finger.
eventually,
To somebody who turned, looked like they were going to run me over.
Okay.
In which case,
So you need to, okay, just let him finish, please.
eventually, after several attempts, the troopers were able to get the subject to lay on the ground and into a safe handcuffing position. At that point, he was subsequently arrested for criminal trespass and obstruction and brought to Thurston County Jail.
Okay. So, Mr. Doe,
I had gotten a morning coffee and I got scolded by it. I was really mad. I was in the process of lighting a cigarette. I could not believe walking down there with a scalded ankle and part of my fingers burned trying to light a cigarette that I'm doing in time in jail.
have you ever gone by any other names besides John Doe, or is that the name given to you at birth?
That is the name that's on my birth certificate. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't like it, but that's the way it is. John J. Doe.
Okay. And then how long have you lived in Thurston County here?
I don't. I was just passing through it.
I see.
Somebody told me the highway was classed as a dead zone. I was not hitchhiking. I was having a smoke. My ankle was burned. I was really upset, and I can't understand, while having a smoke, to calm down, what I was arrested for.
That's not necessary. Again, these are just allegations, but that's not necessarily why you were arrested.
I was upset. I was mad because my ankle was burned when the coffee spilled on me. I kicked what was left of the cup because it had already spilled on my foot and my leg. I was very upset. I had a cigarette, trying to light it on the side of the highway, could not believe I was being arrested for spilling a morning coffee. That is unbelievable. A criminal record for because you had a cup of coffee, lifted it by the lid, a drop spilled on your leg, you kicked the rest of it, walked out, took a cigarette butt to have a drag, and I'm arrested for it. That is unbelievable.
Well, you've been charged with a crime. As I said, initially, you have the right to an attorney. I'm told you're not interested in having an attorney appointed to represent you.
Being arrested for having a hot coffee spilled. He dropped the lid when I had the lid I thought was fastened on tight. It dropped on me, spilled on me. I kicked what was left of it because I was mad from being burned with scalded coffee. Walked out, lit up with smoke, could not believe I'm being arrested for spilling a hot coffee on myself.
Where was this alleged to have occurred? Did you say this was on I-5?
Yeah, I-5 northbound by the Scatter Creek rest stop area.
I bought a copy. I paid for that copy.
Okay, so I'm gonna speak for a minute, and I hope you don't interrupt me. But spilling the coffee is not why you were arrested. Now, these are just allegations. Nothing's been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. But you were arrested because it's alleged, and again, these are just allegations, that you were throwing rocks at cars and were walking on the freeway where you're not supposed to walk. You're not allowed to walk out there.
Walking in the ditch. I walk over by the rail or in the gravel as far as I can get away from the traffic because I'm stupid enough to walk in the center of it. That is just begging. That is suicide and murder, which is completely stupid.
But you're still not allowed to be there, where no matter where you are out there.
I'm not allowed to be on any road of any kind. Is that what you're saying?
No, not on the interstate freeway and the interstate highway. No, you're not allowed to be out there. On other roads, yes, you can walk along the side. But, and again, these are just allegations. I want to emphasize. And if it's alleged you were out there in the freeway, yeah, you're not allowed to be out there. So I'm trying to figure out where we.
The person has no right to life. Thank you for telling me that my body belongs in a jail. I do not have any civil rights as a human being. Thank you. It's no different.
I'm not saying that. I'm trying to figure out where we go from here. I haven't said anything about whether you're going to be held or not held or anything like that.
No civil rights as a human being. I don't have a right to my own mind, my own body. It's what you're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like everybody else. Anybody else can do whatever they want. But you can't have a name like, not like anyone else's. Anything. Thank you. Doesn't understand why I'm in jail now. I don't have any kind of civil rights. I'm not even voting. Thank you for reinstating that to me.
Okay, so Mr. Doe, here's what's going to happen here today. As I've said before, I found probable cause for obstructing a law enforcement officer in the performance of his or her duties, as well as criminal trespass in the second degree. I am going to appoint Thurston County Public Defense to represent you based on my conversations with you. I'm going to.
I don't have rights to represent my own self, so I don't have a brain. Thank you.
You have a bail's going to be set in the amount of 1,000 cash or bond.
I don't need no lawyers in me in the back.
Okay. Bail be set in the amount of $1,000 cash or bond. If that's posted, he'll be subject to a DCR review. The conditions are don't have any criminal law violations. Based on my conversations with you, I have concerns about your competency to proceed forward. I do that. I'm going to order a 1077 evaluation. Ms. Myers, I'll rely on you to prepare that to me, and we'll set a hearing 1 week from today at 1:30 to see where we're at. If we get an evaluation and go from there. But, and again, this is my motion to order that evaluation, and that's just based on the conversation that we've had here today. And so you can be taken back, Mr. Doe, and we'll see you 1 week from today.
Spencer, come on up.